Hi friends, um, welcome to this live stream session, and I really appreciate the fact that you've kept yourself, you've been looking forward towards this session. um, so I'm quite glad that you are joining me here again, and I really appreciate your time, and I hope that you learn a lot from this session. So this session is actually about how to win the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. And I know some of you may be hearing about the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship for the first time. Maybe you don't know much about Sweden. Maybe you don't know, hey, where's Sweden? Like, seriously, is that a country? Like, how's it like? What's it about and all? So I'm actually here to do a live stream session on based on this scholarship and how to guide you and give information on how you can also win this scholarship. So first of all, describe our agenda for this session. And as you can see, I'm going to start with a brief introduction about myself. And I'm going to talk about what living and studying in Sweden is like. And then we're going to talk about the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship in terms of the benefits, the eligibility, the required documents, and when to apply for the scholarship. And we're also going to talk about master's admission in Sweden with different with subtopics based on how to apply for masters in Sweden, the eligibility, required documents, when to apply, and then about universities in Sweden and what their ranking is like in when you compare them with other other universities all around the world. And then I'm going to take some few questions and and then we will wrap up this session. So about me. Okay, my name is Mobolaji Folomisho, and I'm a Nigerian. I'm from Nigeria. I I studied for my bachelor's degree in Nigeria. So I studied mechanical engineering, and presently I'm a master's student at Linköping University, which is quite in the south of Sweden, studying industrial engineering and management. This is actually my second year. I have finished my first year of master's, so I just started my second year. So I will soon be done with my master's program. And also, I'm a Swedish Institute Study Scholarship holder. The scholarship that I'm going to be talking about, I've won it. So I think I have some experience, and I think I have some experience that you can, make use of that will be very beneficial for you and when you consider applying for the scholarship. So I won the scholarship in April of 2017, and so it was actually my first time of traveling outside Nigeria, and it's been you know a great experience for me being in Sweden. And I'm going to talk about it in the next slide. So, what is living and studying in Sweden like? What is it like? What is it about Swedish education system? Why should I come to Sweden? So it's first of all, I would say that Sweden is actually a top five destination for higher education in the world, above Canada and Australia. Yeah, I know some of you may be surprised hearing that because what most of us have been hearing about is Canada, Australia, the UK, the United States. Sometimes maybe Germany. Because when I was also applying for trying to look out for opportunities for studying abroad, Sweden was not the first country that came to my mind. I mean, who wants to study in Sweden? So I was looking at the popular destinations, the UK, the US, and all. And when I looked at all these countries, I didn't find what I wanted in terms of the mix of the master's program, the scholarships. I actually wanted a fully funded scholarship. That was when I was searching. I wanted a funded scholarship. So it's one of the reasons one of those things that attracted me to Sweden, the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship, because it's a full scholarship. with full funding for tuition fees and monthly allowances, and even there's a travel grant from your own country to Sweden. So I'm going to talk about that in details in the subsequent slides. But actually, what I want to tell you now is that this is the U21 Universitas 2018 ranking of higher education systems all over the world. And of course, number one on the rank is the United States, number two, Switzerland, number three, United Kingdom, and fourth is Sweden. Yeah, top five destination for higher education in the world. And then in Sweden, you can work while studying, but actually, if you win the scholarship, you have no reason to work, while studying because there you have received monthly allowances from the government, from the Swedish government, and it's enough for you to cover all your monthly expenses from accommodation and transportation and feeding and all. So you don't need to work if you win a scholarship. But I just wanted to know that yes, there's an opportunity for you to work while studying. Um, and then the third option, the third thing about Sweden is actually a very big on the recycling. Sweden is regarded as one of the most sustainable countries in the world. I mean, they are very big on recycling. A large percentage of household waste in Sweden is recycled. Like, yeah. So they are very big on recycling, on sustainability, environmental sustainability, and all these issues about the SDGs. So, and Sweden is also the home of Volvo, IKEA, Ericsson, Spotify, Skype. Some of you may have heard about these companies, maybe two or three about this of these companies, and I I want you to know that all these companies started in Sweden. Volvo started in Gothenburg, IKEA started in Sweden also. Ericsson, Spotify, in Stockholm. Skype, I think Skype also in Stockholm also. So Sweden is like a hot a center for innovation, not only in Europe but all over the world. Apart from Sweden being one of the most sustainable countries in the world, it's also one of the most innovative, most innovation-driven economies in the world. So it's a great place for you to come study. I mean, it's where you can unleash your mind to think of different possibilities. If you're talking about the latest technologies in the world, you'll find it in Sweden. Yeah, some of them even started in Sweden. For example, the seat belt that is very standardized all over the world in vehicles and automobiles all over the world. Seat belts seat belt was an innovation that started in Sweden, and evolved from a Volvo engineer. So it's somewhere where you can come and study and unleash your mind and think of things that you can do to make the world a better place. And then Swedes are quite very big on coffee. Yeah, they take a lot of coffee, and when it comes to Sweden, there's usually what you call the fika break. It's where you take some coffee and some other snack maybe, but actually they are quite big on coffee. And then master's programs in Sweden are taught in English. Yeah, though Swedish is the native language in Sweden, spoken in Sweden, but a very large percentage of Swedes speak very good English, like more than 70% of Swedes speak fluent English. So you can, if English is the only language you understand, or maybe Arabic or any other language, or French, when you come to Sweden, you can live, do most of your daily activities in English. So you don't have to worry. But it won't hurt to learn some Swedish, by the way, actually. So, but I actually just wanted to know that English is quite popular in Sweden, and all master's programs in all universities in Sweden, like a very large percentage of master's programs are taught in English. So go into the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about the benefits. Or let me say, okay, let me start from like this. The Swedish Institute Study Scholarship is organized by the Swedish Institute and the Swedish Institute is an agency of the Swedish government that promotes Sweden all over the world. So they are not, the Swedish Institute is not only not only and the scholarship is not just only what they organize. They also organize a lot of different activities all over the world, letting the world know about Sweden, the Swedish language, and all. So that's what the Swedish Institute does. So the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship is one of the scholarships that they handle. They have different scholarships also, but this scholarship is for master studies, for master studies, and so let's talk about the benefits. First of all, there is full tuition fees for the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. I mean, when you win the scholarship, all your tuition fees, no matter how much they are fully paid. Now, education, master's programs in Sweden, for some years was free. Master's program was tuition free. But some years ago, tuition fees were introduced, and then scholarship came into the picture. And so the scholarship is meant to pay for the full tuition fees if you win it. And then the second benefit that you get when you win the scholarship is a travel grant from your home country to Sweden, which is about 15,000 Swedish crowns. I think you can make a conversion of that. When you convert that to dollars, US dollars, that could be about a thousand US dollars, or just a little above that. So, oh no, 1,700 and something dollars. Yeah, when you convert 15,000 Swedish crowns to SEK, to dollars. And then there's monthly allowances that you receive every month, right from the moment the first month you arrive Sweden. You will be receiving the sum of 9,000 Swedish crowns per month from the Swedish Institute. 9,000 Swedish crowns, about 1,000 US dollars every month. So, that's quite very enough for you to live a normal student life in Sweden. And then there's full healthcare cover for you if you get this scholarship. Same healthcare cover that every Swedish person, every Swede is entitled to. You have that same, you get that same healthcare insurance. And then there is a membership of the Swedish Institute Network for Future Global Leaders. Now, the Swedish Institute Network for Future Global Leaders is a network for scholarship holders who are studying in Sweden. That's SI, Swedish Institute Study Scholarship holders in Sweden. There's a network for in each university across Sweden. So each university has its own local network. For example, I study at Linköping University, so there is a Swedish Institute network for future global leaders ham in Linköping here, and then there are others all over Sweden, all in Chalmers, in Stockholm, in Umeå, Luleå, all over Sweden. There are different chapters of this network for scholarship holders all over Sweden. And then when you finish your master's studies in Sweden, you automatically become a member of the Swedish Institute Alumni Network. And this network is meant for, let me say it's administered by the Swedish Institute. And the reason why they are doing this is because they want to maintain close relationship with their scholarship holders, not only while they are studying, but also after they study, after their studies in Sweden, So these are the benefits you get when you win the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. So talk about your eligibility, what makes you eligible for the scholarship. Now, this information I'm going to be sharing is based on the last application period, and that's because every application period, just before the application period, the Swedish Institute updates new information about the scholarship on the website. Now, this is their website that you're seeing on at the top. I'm going to show you that now, but I just want you to know that whatever information I'm sharing here is based on the last application period. And so the first eligibility requirement is the fact that you have to be from a country that is on the dark list of other recipients. Now, which countries are on the dark list of other recipients? Let me show you which countries are there. Okay. This is the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship website. Then you scroll down the website, see go for 138 countries. I say the scholarship is available for 138 countries. When you click on these 0 countries, you see a lot of countries, are eligible for the scholarship. So if you are from Colombia, if you're from Djibouti, if you're from Egypt, if you're from Libya, you are eligible for the scholarship from Sudan, Salvador, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, um, Philippines, Rwanda, if you're from uh, Senegal, Seychelles, all, website, and then you click on the countries eligible for a scholarship. You see the countries that are eligible, and I think I understand that a large percentage of my audience, you guys, are eligible for the scholarship. So that's one of the second requirement is you need to have work experience of at least 3,000 hours. Now, 3,000 hours. Now, why does this scholarship require work experience? Now, let's go back to the website and see what is work experience. See, now, on the website page, the page, and then you see who the Swedish Institute is looking for. Let me just a section of it. It says scholarships program, Swedish government's international award scheme aimed at developing global leaders. It is funded by the Ministry for Foreign Affairs of Sweden and administered by the Swedish Institute. Okay, the goal is to enable scholarship holders to play an active role in the positive development of the societies in which they live. Ideal candidates. Now, I want you to listen to this part. It says ideal candidates for the scholarship are ambitious young professionals with academic qualifications, demonstrated work and leadership experience, ambition to make a difference by working with issues which contribute to a just and sustainable development in their country in a long term perspective, and a clear idea of how a study program in Sweden would benefit their country. So, what they are looking for is people who have work experience, leadership experience, because they want to develop global leaders, people who are doing some sort of work in their country, and then they desire to build up their skills and then come to Sweden to study, then go back to their country to develop their country. That is the goal of the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. So that's why they require work experience of at least 3,000 hours. Now, how do you calculate 3,000 hours of work experience? Um, you find that information on the website, and I will show you where it is. So this is where it is. About how to calculate your number of hours you worked for. Now, this is how you calculate that. How many hours do you work for in a day? How many days do you work for in a week? And how many weeks have you worked for in total? Then multiply all these three numbers. You get the total number of hours you worked for. Let me say that again. The number of hours you work for in a day, number of hours you work for in a day, multiplied by the number of days you work for in a week, multiplied by the number of weeks you've worked for in total. That's how you calculate the number of hours you worked for. Then there's a requirement for leadership experience. Now, the leadership experience does not have number of hours requirement. Can be any number of hours, but you need to have some leadership experience. And the leadership experience can be from full-time job, or a part-time job, or from volunteering, from freelancing, from starting a business, from joining a cause, a social development initiative, a network of your professional organization, some experience from organizing an event, organizing conferences, from project management experience, some any kind of experience where you had to lead a team, where you had to maybe lead a team, lead a project. All these can count as leadership experience, and you need it's very compulsory. You need to have this for you to apply for the scholarship. And then another requirement is that you need to be admitted into a master's program in Sweden during the autumn application round. Actually, usually in Sweden, there are usually two application rounds: the autumn and the spring application rounds. Now we are close to the beginning of the autumn application round, which is going to be starting next month, October 16 precisely. So the scholarship is awarded for admissions gained in the autumn admission round. That's in the application round that is starting next. So this is a very good opportunity, very good time for you to start preparing for the master's application and for the scholarship. This session, this live stream session, is actually coming in good time for that purpose. And the fact is, I want you to understand that the master's application is different from the scholarship application, handled by two different organizations, different timelines, different required documents, different requirements. So I'm talking about the scholarship now, the scholarship application, and in the next few slides, I'm going to be talking about the master's application, because they are different applications. So the way it is organized is you first apply for master's admissions, then at the end of the master's admission, the scholarship application opens. That's usually in February. I'm saying usually because it may change for the next round. So usually in February, scholarship application opens, and then you apply for the scholarship. So that's how it usually goes. So the master's program another requirement is the fact that the master's program you are interested in applying for is actually on the list of eligible master's programs for the scholarship. Now, there is the Swedish Institute usually publishes a list of eligible master's programs for the scholarship. So not all master's programs in Sweden are eligible for this scholarship. So you need to choose, you need to select from this list of eligible scholarships. Now, each year, eligible scholarships, the list of eligible master's programs um, they are released, are published. So the list usually changes, though maybe not by much, but every year there's usually a new list of eligible master's programs published for that period, for that application period. So for the next application period, scholarship application period, the list of eligible master's programs will be published on December 1, 2018. That's actually what the um, Swedish Institute says on their website. If you go to the website, see the information. It says we'll publish a list of eligible master's programs for the academic year 2019-2020 here by 1st of December 2018. Only the master's programs that are in the list are eligible for SISS. Now, the academic year of 2019-2020 in August or September 2019, and then the application for that academic year starts this year. That starts in October on October 16. That's masters, and the scholarship for that academic year starts. Will be starting soon. Let me say that. So it's important that you stay that you look out, you stay updated on this website for the information on the list of eligible master's programs. Now, some of you may have questions in your mind about okay, if master's applications are starting on October 16, and then I won't know which master's program to apply for until December 1. So how I want to start early. I want to start. How do I start? Actually, you can actually wait till December 1 and for them to release the list of eligible master's programs to select the master's programs that you're interested in. And when you're applying for master's, you can delete or add or change the courses, the master's programs you apply to. And I'm going to explain further about that in subsequent slides. We've covered the eligibility for the scholarship. Now you need to visit this website because this information may be updated, will may be updated, in subsequent weeks and months. So you need to be visiting this website regularly to stay updated with the latest information. So let's go to the next slide. So the required documents. Now we've talked about what makes you eligible for the scholarship. Now let's talk about the required documents. Now, based on the last application round, usually there's a motivation letter required. Then there's a letter of reference, and then the CV, and then the proof. There's a document that they call proof of work and leadership experience. Now you don't need to have certificates of your leadership experience. Some of you may be wondering, I've had some leadership experience in the past, but I don't have any form of certificate or proof for that. You don't need to bother about that because the Swedish Institute will provide a template, like it's like a form for you to download and fill the details and give some people who can stand as referees to sign and stamp, and then you submit to the Swedish Institute back. So that's how it works. And then the copy of your passport, which is usually attached to the last page of your CV. Now, all these documents have templates, motivation letter, templates will be provided, so you just need to stay updated on the Swedish Institute website. Letter of reference template will be provided. The CV is according to this Europass CV format, and then they require it's usually require that you have a maximum of 4 pages for your CV. And then the last page, the fourth page, should be your passport, the scanned copy of your passport, your travel document. So all these documents, templates will be provided. So what I can advise you to do now is to stay updated on that website, the Swedish Institute website, for the latest information. So as I said, when to apply for the scholarship. The next scholarship application date is yet to be announced, but may likely be in February 2019. So as I said, stay updated on the Swedish Institute website at si.sc/en. Okay, so let's go to the next master's applications in Sweden. Now I've talked about the scholarship application. Now I want to talk about the master's applications. As I've said, there's a difference between these two applications. So you need to apply for the master's application. You need to apply for master's studies first, then apply for the scholarship after that. And they are handled by different organizations. Now, while the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship is administered, handled and organized by the Swedish Institute, master's applications in Sweden are organized by University Admissions. That's the name of the organization. Now, in Sweden, I want you to know that in Sweden, you don't send applications to each individual university. You don't send your documents. You don't apply for each master's program to each university. All master's applications are made on a single website, which is the University Admissions website. That is the website you are seeing at the top. That's where you make your applications for masters in Sweden. And the way it is done, you select a maximum of 4 master's programs. You can select 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4, depending on whatever choice you want. And then you rank these courses, these master's programs, from 1 to 4 according to your preference, depending on which one you want. And then you submit your application. And when doing selection of candidates who are successful during the application, what universities do, all universities can have access to your application on these websites. So the university you rank as your first choice will consider your applications, and then if they deem you fit as you qualify for their program, and then they grant you admission, they offer you admission, you'll be offered admission for the first choice. Then the other choices, the second, third, and fourth, will be deleted. And if it happens that the first your university you applied for as your first choice, you know, does not grant you the admission, then the second choice university will consider your application. And then when they consider your application, if you are admitted for that program, if you are admitted for that program, your other choices will be deleted. So that's why it works from that. Then if you're not admitted for the second choice, your third choice will be considered. If you're not admitted for the third choice, your fourth choice will be considered. So that's how it's done. You make applications on a single website, and then you upload or you send your documents by post or courier. You know, there are different ways of sending your documents, but the most popular option is to upload your documents because it's cheaper, it's faster, just uploading the scanned copies of your documents. And then you need to pay application fee of 900 Swedish crowns if you are from outside the EU or from Europe, let's say Europe, because 900 Swedish crowns is about 100 US dollars. Yeah, so if you're from outside the European Union or the European Economic Area, um, you have to pay the application fee of 900 Swedish crowns. And then you need to check for special instructions for the country you studied in. This is very crucial. It's very, very crucial that you need to check because there are special instructions for every country. Now let me show you how it works. Go to where you make your applications when application starts next month. Now, I want to show you the special instructions for your country of study. You master's applications. Now you see all these. Look at the left pane. You see all these step 3, step 4. Now it says checking for special instructions for my country of study. So you click on it. You scroll down. You see um, a lot of countries. I mean, almost every country in the world is listed here. So you can find information for the country you studied in. Now, notice that I said the country you studied in, not the country you are from, you're a citizen from. You can be from Libya and be studying in Egypt, or maybe you're from Egypt and you're studying in Saudi Arabia, or maybe you're from Tunisia and you're studying in Algeria. So there's a difference. So what these special instructions are for are meant for the countries where you studied in, because that's where you study for your bachelor's. That's where your documents, your university documents will be coming from. So it's the country you studied in that you need to check for special instructions for. So let's say, for example, Egypt. Egypt on Egypt and you find specific instructions for candidates that studied in Egypt. Information on everything here. So you need to check for special instructions you studied in. The last point here is visit the website of the universities to confirm specific requirements for each master's program. Now, in the next slide, I'm going to talk about the requirements for master's studies in Sweden. Let's talk about the required documents. Now, first of all, okay, let me take you to the website. You will see requirements, finding what I need to submit. Then this is where you check the required documentation for all master's applications in Sweden. The first one is certificates and diplomas. There are different instructions. I can't cover everything here. You need to visit this website. Now, this is what I did when I was applying. I made sure that I visited this website, these pages, almost every link, and check detailed information on everything to be sure of what is required of me, so that I won't, cheat myself of an opportunity of studying in this amazing country. So it's very important for you to study all information on this webpage. Required documents, certificates and diplomas, transcripts of completed courses and grades, and there are things that you need to note. All these note one, note two, you need to check, sure which one applies to you. You need to really study all this information in detail and understand them. So there's the proof of English language skills. Because master's programs in Sweden are taught in English, you need to have a level of English languages skills for you to come study in Sweden. And there are different ways of meeting the English language requirements, and the most popular one is through um, English language test, TOEFL, and IELTS. Now you need to be sure that, um, and then there is another option of university studies, but that option is limited to certain countries. Because there are certain countries that if you studied in those countries, you will not need to submit any English language exam results for master's programs in Sweden. So you need to check for special instructions for your country of study to know the kind of English language, the proof of English language skills that they need from you. So that's where you find that information. And then there's a proof that you meet, the fourth one, the proof that you meet the specific entry requirements you are applying to. Now, apart from these general requirements of certificates, English language skills, transcripts, you need to be sure that you meet specific requirements of the master's program you're applying for. And you can only do that by going to the website of the universities you're interested in. That's where you find information whether university requires maybe a CV from you. CV, not all master's programs require CV. Some require CV, reference letter, motivation letter. Now, I want you to understand that the CV, reference letter, and motivation letter for master's applications are very different from the CV, reference letter, motivation letter for the scholarship. Very different. So you need to know how um, um, in what format these documents are required for each application. So that requires a lot of study of information available on the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship website and the Masters, this university admissions website, and also the websites of the university you're interested in. So you need to go there and search, apart from certificates and transcripts, what other thing do they require from me? Do they need CV? Do they need a reference letter? Do they need a portfolio that maybe you're applying for, maybe architecture, master's programs in architecture, or any design related master's program? Some of them require a portfolio of your past projects, or maybe some require a study plan. Do you need to check the website of the universities you're interested in to know what they require and how they want you to submit those documents. And then the last one is a copy of the data page of your international passport. So that's very important. So if you don't have your international passport yet, you need to go and get that as soon as possible for you to be able to make applications for masters in Sweden and the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. And the fact is, your certificate has to be in English, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, French, or German. If your certificate or any of your documents is not in any of these languages, then you need to apply. You need to provide an official translation for the documents. Like if any of the documents you are submitting are not in English, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, English, French, or German, then you need to provide an official translation. So let's check the next slide. When to apply. Now the next master's application for the autumn admission round opens on October 16, 2018. That's less than a month away. So this is coming at the right time. and then it usually lasts till January, the end of January of the next year. So I think you should take note of that. So universities in Sweden. So you are looking at which universities in Sweden, to study in Sweden. There are about 38 universities in Sweden. Now, this information is from this website. Let me show you the website. Information on that. Sweden, Sweden. Okay. Universities. Now, you see a list of all universities in Sweden. Dalarna University, from Jönköping, TH from Linköping, where I study. Linnaeus University, Luleå, Lund University, Malmö University, Malmö University, Södertörn University, University of Gothenburg, University West, Umeå, Örebro. So, information on the universities in Sweden, and how to apply to them, and whatever information that you need to know about their master's programs. Universities in Sweden. Now, I got this information from the QS World University Rankings, the latest one for 2018. And then these numbers that you see on this left side, these universities all over the world. Now, there are tens of thousands of universities all over the world. University in Sweden, Lund University is number 78 in the world. Second university in Sweden, KDH, 98th world. So these are top universities, not just in Sweden, but in the world. So when I say that Sweden is a top destination for higher education, this is a proof that yes, it's true. And I study at Linköping University. Linköping is top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, top 8, top 10 university in Sweden. Umeå also. In Sweden are quite very good in terms of research and development, and then their rankings all over the world. So you should consider coming to Sweden to study. The website for you to follow. Now, it's very important. If you're going to be applying for masters in Sweden and for the Swedish Institute Study Scholarship, you need to be checking this website almost every day. I mean, when I was applying before I got to Sweden, I was checking the studyinSweden.se website almost every day. I mean, I was checking it every day for updates. What's the latest? What's the newest update? That's how, and that's how I wanted also to approach this process. You need to stay updated on this website. And there are also blogs by students in Sweden. Now, if you go to blogs.studyinSweden.se, blogs.studyinSweden.se, you find the student blog, students all over Sweden studying in Sweden, different universities, talking about their experiences of studying in Sweden, writing on different subjects, different topics. I mean, this was my obsession when I was applying for masters. This blog, because I loved hearing about student experiences, learning and reading about student experiences in Sweden and what it's like to study in Sweden. So if you want to know what it's like to study in Sweden from the perspective of students studying in Sweden at different universities from the south of Sweden to the north of Sweden, then you need to come to this website, to this blog, blogs.in-Sweden.se. You'll find a lot of information. A lot of exciting information dating back to not just 2018. We have posts from 2017, 2016. Let's check the archives. From 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014. They are looking at hundreds and maybe thousands of articles and blogs that you can read about students about what it's like to study in Sweden from the perspective of different students. So I think I should include in that, um, important, very very important, and I think we are close to the end of this live session. You follow me. You can follow me. I'm available on different social media platforms, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to LinkedIn. You can follow me on these platforms, and if you have any questions you want to ask me, you can ask me on these platforms, and I'll reply you as soon as possible. So thank you. I really appreciate me on this session, and I think I will check now. So see if I have some questions. Uh, Yeah, I think one question I got here is the fact that is it fully funded? Is scholarship fully funded? Yes, scholarship is fully funded. You know, everything is paid for. Tuition fees, full tuition fees, monthly allowances, and a travel grant from your home country. So it's fully funded. Let's see any other questions. Yeah, sure. We upload the presentation. I will think the admin will make the presentation available after the live stream session. Yeah, my LinkedIn profile is Bolaji Flomsho. Just follow, just search for me and LinkedIn. Um, just provide the link. Linked. When you type this in your web browser, come up for questions. Now, yeah, the 3,000 working hours, it's not compulsory from a particular job. It can be from a series of work experiences. Maybe you worked in different places. So you can calculate, maybe you worked for maybe 1,000 hours in somewhere in a company. Then you worked for maybe 800 hours in another place. Then you worked for 600 hours somewhere else, like that. You can combine everything together to make up your 3,000 working hours required for a scholarship application. Um, questions. What are the majors available to do masters? Okay, let me show you that. Master's programs in Sweden. If you come, you have to go to this website, universityadmissions.sc, and then here you will see information on whatever and anything you need, anything you need about master's application, the courses, the master's programs and majors required, offered in Sweden. Let me see the list of master's programs. You need to go to Study in Sweden. See, yeah, if you come to this website, studyinSweden.sc, go to programs, then you can search for master's program in Sweden. Let's say you want to see all the master's programs available. So you click on autumn of 2018 or any particular admission period you want, level, bachelor or master subject areas, but let's see all the master's programs available in Sweden. So you click on it and then you find more than 1,000 master's programs available in different universities in Sweden. And master's programs in Sweden can either be for 1 year or 2 years. Like this master's program in 1 year, and this MBA program in University Institute of Technology actually for a year. So, and there are master's programs also that last for 2 years. Student.sc, click on programs, a list of master's programs available in Sweden. Let's see. Questions. Okay. No more questions at the moment. We don't have more questions at the moment, so I think we are now at the end of this live stream session, and I want to appreciate you for to this and to listen to this and to learn about what it takes to study in Sweden. And I hope you've learned a lot about this, and I hope to hear from you and to see you come study in Sweden. So bye guys, see you later.